Listening to music has proven to boost people's mood, improve motivation, and allow people to feel more interconnected. However, actually getting music to play around the house is a whole other challenge. You many times have to find the speaker, turn on Bluetooth on your phone, connect it, and at this point, the mood is just lost. That's why having speakers ready to go in every corner of your house is the way to go for all of you music lovers. When it comes to whole home audio, there's one company that rises above the rest, Sonos. Since its founding in 2002, they found a way to delight customers and expand into every corner of people's homes. While some of their more recent products like the Sub Mini and Sonos Arc have been gaining attention, it's the tried and true Sonos One that is the entry point for most customers. In this video, let me tell you why the Sonos One is the best smart speaker for you. In this video, we'll focus on the Sonos One, but everything that I mentioned, except for the voice functionality, applies to the Sonos One SLs too. In terms of size, the Sonos One is about 6 inches tall and 5 inches wide, about the size of my palm both sides. For color options, the Sonos One comes in both black and white. Both of them are finished in a matte finish that looks really good in person. Here I have the white ones, and I personally think the white one looks a little bit better in my house just because it blends into the wall a bit better. The color will really depend on your room aesthetic and whichever one appeals to you. The speaker is composed of a sturdy plastic at the top and at the bottom, and is wrapped around in a metal grill that is color matched to the rest of the speaker. The speaker feels durable and heavy in the hands, and I haven't noticed any significant scratches or dents in my 3 years of ownership. However, I did notice some small scratches on the back side of the speaker. The structure of the unit does well to protect it against most of the elements, and Sonos does rate the Sonos One as humidity resistant. However, it isn't waterproof or water resistant by any means, so I wouldn't recommend putting it in the shower or right by the pool. For those type of scenarios, I'd recommend going with the Sonos Move or the Sonos Roam, which are much more durable and better suited for those situations. We'll get into those speakers in a later video. The sound quality out of this small speaker is absolutely amazing. I'm no audiophile, but I've heard my fair share of headphones, Bluetooth speakers, and smart speakers over the years. And I can say that the Sonos One sounds balanced and refined even at higher volumes. It can easily fill a small to medium-sized room. There's also enough bass to add an oomph to bass-heavy genres such as hip-hop and house. Sonos also lets you adjust the EQ in the app, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It lets you increase or decrease the treble and bass of the speaker. To go one step further, Sonos has a feature called TruePlay. TruePlay lets users with an iPhone or iPad map out their room by walking around in a silly motion while the Sonos One speaker makes some loud beeping noises. This lets Sonos map out your room and acoustically tune the Sonos One to better adjust the EQ levels for the environment. And let me tell you, this makes a world of a difference. If you have two Sonos Ones or two Sonos One SLs or even one of each, you can pair them in a stereo pair. This allows you to get better separation and better clarity out of your music. I'll do a quick demo to illustrate the sound quality of the Sonos One, but a caveat here is that the Sonos One is recorded with my Sony camera, which is then compressed to YouTube, and then you're hearing it on your headphones or your speaker, so the sound quality will not be exactly as I'm hearing it. A smart speaker must be, well, a good speaker and also smart. The Sonos One must be connected to the internet at all times to function. There is no Bluetooth support built into this speaker, and that's for a good reason. With Wi-Fi, you get a stable connection that doesn't need to be connected over and over again. If you get a phone call or your phone goes out of range, the music will continue to play and the party doesn't have to stop. The speaker supports both Wi-Fi and Ethernet to get it hooked up to the internet. I've been using Wi-Fi for the past 3 years and I haven't had any drops or issues so far. Once you get the speaker hooked up, there are several different ways you can use to play music directly to the speaker. One, you can use the Sonos S2 app, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can cast directly from Spotify using Spotify Connect. You can cast using AirPlay 2 with a compatible iPhone, iPad, MacBook, or whatever Apple device. You can also use your voice. All of these options are great, and use the one that works for you best. But just a note here that AirPlay 2 does drain a significant amount of your battery, just because your phone has to be connected to the same Wi-Fi and the audio is streaming directly from your phone to the device rather than going straight from the cloud to the device. For the best results, I'd recommend using the Sonos S2 app. Unless you're a Spotify user, then just use Spotify Connect, which works great. Sonos, unlike its competitors, can be set up to use Google Assistant or Alexa. Sonos also has their own assistant, the Sonos Assistant, which takes privacy to a whole other level. It processes all requests on the device itself and doesn't send any data to the cloud, meaning your data isn't shared with anyone. While this may appeal to some of you, just note that the Sonos Assistant is still limited in what it can do. It's really good at playing music, pausing music, and also adjusting the group settings of the Sonos speakers, but it can't do anything to control your smart home like the Google Assistant and Alexa can. Thankfully, you can use the Sonos Assistant in tandem with the Alexa. However, you can't use Google Assistant and the Sonos Assistant, probably due to some weird legal battles. Once you do have music playing, you can use the touch capacitive buttons at the top of the Sonos speaker to play and pause, skip tracks, increase or decrease music, and mute and unmute the microphone. The Sonos speaker shines when you bring more and more Sonos speakers into your home. If you have music playing in one room, you can use the Sonos S2 app or the buttons at the top of the speaker to group and ungroup speakers. So if you're jamming in the kitchen and you move to the bedroom, the party doesn't have to stop. The app to control all of the newer Sonos speakers is the Sonos S2 app. In the beginning, it guides you through one of the simplest tech setups that I've ever had to do. It takes about 1 to 3 minutes to add any new Sonos speaker to your home. You can use it to play music from any of the different streaming services that Sonos supports, which is a lot. And then you can also use the app to adjust the volume, adjust the EQ, run TruePlay if you have an iPhone or iPad. Also, just to call out, the Sonos One is HomeKit compatible. While you can't do some of the more complex things like play music directly using Siri, you can add it to your Apple Home and use it to run automations, such as pausing music when you leave the house. The main competitors for the Sonos One are the Google Nest Audio and Amazon Echo 4th Gen. These speakers come in at a cheaper price than the Sonos One and have comparable sound qualities. If you plan on getting just one speaker, go with one of these. However, if you plan on expanding your music setup to more than just one room, like your living room, the kitchen, the outdoors, then I recommend going with the Sonos. The breadth of speakers that Sonos provides, such as Sonos Arc and the Sonos Move, paired with their whole home integration, allows you to build on top of the Sonos One without foregoing any functionality. Furthermore, Sonos gives you the ability to choose a voice assistant of your choice. This gives you flexibility. In my opinion, these two features make the Sonos One worth the price and the clear whole home audio winner. Sonos speakers are built to last, and Sonos is committed to supporting their speakers from the software standpoint for a very long time. Thus, to save a little bit of money and also look out for the environment, I encourage you to shop Sonos speakers secondhand. For example, I got a pair of Sonos One SLs, which are downstairs as my main rear speakers for my Sonos Arc, for about $125 a pair. They usually run for about $200 before tax, so that's almost 40% savings. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about other Sonos products such as the Sonos Arc, Sonos Sub, or the Sonos One SLs as surrounds for the whole home audio, please let me know in the comments below.